ever shaved with a dull razor? Let me tell you the tale of the dull razor that just happened to me recently. It was a razor kind of like this, and I had been traveling. Several years ago, my husband had learned the trick of making a travel kit that had all of his personal and toiletry supplies in it. So when he had to pack, which sometimes happened very quickly for a trip, he didn't have to worry about grabbing everything that he needed. So when I started doing a little bit more traveling, I adopted that same thing, and I got a nice little travel kit that I just have to grab, throw in my suitcase with a few clothes, and I'm ready to go. Makes traveling really simple. But on this last occasion, I was getting ready for an event and I realized that I needed to shave my legs. They were a little bit hairy, and I didn't want to attend the event with the hairy legs. So I grabbed my trusty razor, hopped into the shower, and started shaving. And I went to check, where I had shaved, and I thought, that's weird. So I went over the spot again. And without my glasses, I can't see very well. So I used my hands to feel, and I thought, well, for crying out loud, nothing has happened. Well, that razor that had served me faithfully on many trips was now dull. It didn't matter how many times I went over that same spot, nothing was going to happen. I thought about that and I thought, wow, that's a metaphor for what happens in our relationships if we're not careful to do a check-in every once in a while. So let me tell you what I learned from that crazy, dull razor. The first one is we can get lulled by routine. I was just shaving my legs, wasn't paying attention. In fact, I was rather sleepy. It was in the morning, and I just did what I always did. And that's the danger of getting into a routine. Now, routines can be good. We need routines. Our bodies need routines. We need to go to sleep at the same time. We tend to eat our meals at the same time. But if you don't pay attention to this in your relationship, like Dave and me, you could slip into what's called roommate mode in your marriage relationship. You're basically living together, but you don't have a vital, growing relationship. The second thing that this razor has pointed out to me is that I was dulled by familiarity. This razor had been in my kit, and I was familiar with it. I knew it was there. I didn't think to check on it. And because I didn't, I got comfortable with the familiar. There are repeated thoughts and actions and behaviors that we implement that become comfortable, but they can open us up to getting trapped into negative behaviors, such as looking at porn, overeating, over shopping, whatever you want to put the over in front of. Those kind of things can happen when we become dulled by familiarity in our life and in our relationships. And instead of getting help or switching out the blade and getting a sharper blade, we just keep repeating the same behaviors, believing something's going to change, and it never does. And the third thing I learned was that razor had been devalued by neglect. Now, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but without checking on it regularly, even a razor becomes dull. And that's the same thing in our marriage and our relationships, especially after dealing with some sort of betrayal, like discovering your husband's porn usage. You need to have these regular check-ins. You need to have authentic communication. And believe it or not, your relationship needs to be the priority in your life after God. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you did a check-in for your relationship? If you haven't done one recently, I encourage you to set aside some time this weekend and ditch your phones, turn off the TV, put the kids to bed, or get a babysitter and go someplace where the two of you can talk and discuss something that does not include your work, your schedules, and any other repair issues that might be going on in the house. Talk about your relationship. Talk about the two of you. Dream together. Remember why you chose each other to get married. That razor has been replaced in my travel kit. I've learned my lesson that I need to periodically check my travel kit. just like I need to do regular check-ins with Dave. If you're not sure how to do this, or you've got some issues that are going on that you think, I just need some help before I do this check-in, please hop on over to KirstenDSamuel.com and click the button that says, Let's Talk. You can do this. You don't need to keep a dull razor in your marriage relationship.